you got the jump on the rest of the competition, James, in terms of your ball work?
No, definitely not.
So how are the skills coming along?
The skills are good. The skills are very good, but it's not under the pressure of a match, and we're coming from a long way back. I think that Essendon has typically had pretty good skills over the last few years, so it's one area that we were happy with when we came here, is their skill level. But there's certainly some better sides out there with the ball than us.
So based on the work you've done so far, what's the sort of biggest single improvement you've seen?
I think it's been an improvement across the board. I think their fitness is improvement, their ball use has been good, their defensive mechanism has been good. So we've been happy across the board with where they've improved.
How about a few little injury concerns? How's it going placing everything into the break?
Yeah, good. I mean, we've had probably leftover from last year, really, operations that we had to have. Tate Pears is probably the only worry in terms of where he's at, but even his navicular and his ankle injury was repaired, is now he's able to run. So we're happy. And he is really our only concern.
What about Gumbles?
Gumbles is fine. He had a ITB release, pretty much. It's near knee, I think. Tendon near your knee. So he had a release almost as we started pre-season, left over from last year, and he's back running and he'll be fine.
And Jobe, James?
Joby, I just made him sit out and watch, try and learn something rather than... Jobe's had a great pre-season. He's done 100% of the workload, and we just want him to have a rest.
Do they get a break now?
They've got another session tomorrow morning, and then they're off for a couple of weeks.
There seemed to be a lot of grappling and wrestling and in-close competitive. Are you trying to toughen up the group a little bit?
Look, there's no... What are we trying to do? We're trying to make sure that they can play football the way it's going to be played in 2011. I think that there's no doubt the grand final of 2010 showed that you need to be able to win the contested ball, and that's what we want to do.
Could there be an addition to your list for next year in terms of Greg Inglis? Have you met with him, or do you plan to meet with him?
I haven't met with Greg yet, but sometime in the next couple of days we'll try and catch up for a chat, and we'll see what he's interested to do.
Do you think there's a possibility?
Who do you want me to answer first?
You go. Do you think he's genuinely...
I'm not sure. I haven't spoken to him in person, so we'll talk to him and ask him that question, and if we're happy with the answer, then we'll see what happens.
Do you think, would Essendon have to be more interested in purely from a football perspective than, say, Gold Coast and Carmichael Hunt, wouldn't you agree? Because, there's not the same promotional value to be had with Inglis in Melbourne.
Unless he can help us on the football field, we're not interested. He's got to be a player who can help us, and Greg Inglis is an amazing athlete, there's no doubt about that. We haven't even talked to him yet, so it's really the speculation about whether we'll take him, whether he'll come to AFL. He's got to make a decision whether he wants to leave NRL, and then it's, I suppose, up in the air as to what he does.
Have you spoken to the AFL in terms of being able to get him on the list, or extra money?
Not yet, no. We want to make sure the player is interested before we'd go down that path, but as I said, it's a long way from being anywhere near happening, and I think he's got to make a decision what he wants to do with his, I suppose, football career, what code he wants to play, and then a club like Essendon can come in the picture if he's interested in playing AFL.
What do you think of him as a pure athletic talent?
As I said, he's one of the best athletes in Australian sport.
Have you tested him at all on his kicking skills?
I haven't seen him, haven't talked to him, I've seen him play rugby league, exceptional athlete, and that's all.
What about Adrian and the recruiters? Do they have an idea what he could bring to the table?
Absolutely no idea.
So are you actually meeting with him today?
We'll try and meet with him in the next couple of days, but as of yet the meeting hasn't been confirmed, and I'm being evasive, but we don't know too much.
Why has Essendon emerged as a potential suitor?
I understand that Essendon made contact with his manager midway through last footy season, and that's pretty much where it's gone.
There must be something about him that you've identified that maybe he can make a transition.
He's an amazing athlete. He's an amazing athlete, and that's really all we know. And we'll see what he wants to do. I think it's important to work out what he wants to do, and we can go from there.
James, what's your take on the whole St Kilda saga at the moment?
No take at all. No.
Have you got any policy for your players in terms of social media?
We don't know. Well, they're allowed to use social media, and it's part of communication, part of all communication in the public face forum now. That you want to make sure that what you do put on the public forum is material that you want everyone to be able to see, because everyone can see it.
Are you glad Facebook wasn't around when you were playing?
I don't think it would have worried my life too much who it was.
Do you offer advice to your players about this kind of thing?
There's better people here to offer advice than myself. Not knowing too much about Facebook, I think there's other people who are better placed to do it.
You're too old for Facebook.
Good like you, Ron. I'm on Facebook. That's all right.
This seemed to be a great success, getting the crowd out to Windy Hill to watch training. Will you do that once or twice more throughout the season?
Look, it's been great. I think it's something we've done regularly here at Essendon the last 3 or 4 years. The media department here is fantastic and open in the way they go about it, the marketing department as well. So Essendon wants to get its fans and be inclusive in the way we train. Certain sessions we want to keep to ourselves, but a session like this, we'd like as many supporters to come down and join in and sign up a membership when they're here.
Having regard to where your recruits are going on the field in terms of training here, James, could any of them play, do you think, next season?
Yeah, I think a lot of them could, but we just have to wait and see. I mean, we'll wait and see how they come back from Christmas. We'll wait and see how they train up until the season starts. We all know, every AFL club knows that you don't want to burn your recruits out early in the season, so we'll take it pretty carefully with them.
What will change for the boys when they come back from the break? The training focus?
Not a lot. It'll probably be a little shorter and sharper after January, but we're still in a conditioning phase through January and want to get them ready for round one of the season.
Just back on Inglis, when his deal was revoked from the NRL on the weekend, did you guys make contact with him, or did his manager approach them?
All I know is that Ian Robson, our CEO, asked me if we were interested and asked me if we'd have a chat to him, so I'm not sure who made contact.
Are you conscious of not wanting your list to be seen as a bit of a novelty, have a novelty factor about it?
Our list won't be seen as a novelty no matter what we do. It'll be seen as a serious AFL list, and as I said, if he wants to play AFL football, if we think he's good enough to play AFL football, then we'll have a talk to him and go after him. If not, we won't.
It's hard one to judge though, isn't it? Because you're doing it solely on potential.
Yeah.
Just on face value, where could you perhaps see him playing?
I haven't even spoken to him. So, I haven't spoken to him, haven't put a lot of thought into it. We'll meet him over the next couple of days, hopefully, and then we'll know more.
Folau and Hunt had the famed training sessions with Jason McCartney. I think Nathan Buckley would you have to put him through something like that just to gauge for his kicking skills?
We want to see him train, definitely,
It's just feeling like on the couch in September.
Or August, I think.
So was today,
All right, this is the last question,
today
guys.
the last session?
We've got a session tomorrow, and then we're done.
Are you going to follow them tomorrow?
We'll see how they pull up after today. Right?